Hey guys, this is day 6 on the 21-day challenge, and today I'm actually sitting under a bridge with my voice recorder because it's easier to record my voice outside as opposed to being inside where people are sleeping right now and I kind of have to be quiet and I'm overthinking my voice and everything, so I decided to come out here under the bridge to do my daily recording. And today, I got to sleep in, and I slept for like 10 hours and I still wanted to sleep, but I forced myself to get up out of bed at like 11:30, and pretty much I just woke up and I got some food. I ate some fajitas and I also had a coffee and I smoked some weed before I started practicing. And I will say that the coffee can kind of be a lot on my body, even though it makes me feel energized and awake. It makes my stomach all queasy feeling and my adrenaline feels like it's going, and overall it could kind of just not be that good of a trade-off sometimes for the energy. But I just pushed through, and it almost made me feel like I had existential dread when I was practicing. I was getting all these just harrowing feelings for whatever reason, where it's feelings of what's the point? Why am I doing this? What's going to be the payoff? What's the significance in this? What's the purpose? And I have a purpose for it, but it's my body is sending me all these signals, and it's feeling all these emotions of just pointlessness and just not wanting to focus. My mind is just going off on these tangents, and they're all pointless, and I see through them all, but it's they're also poking at me and trying to get my attention. And I was processing them as I was playing the guitar, and at a certain point I just started ignoring them and just focusing on my practice, because I noticed that when I start focusing on something and I start just pushing through whatever is going on in my head or in my body, I start transforming energetically. And then it's I get that feeling that I was looking for, that feeling of purpose, that feeling of being connected, that feeling of being focused on something, the feeling of watching myself improve at something, just the feeling of creating, the feeling of flow. It's that's the feeling I'm always trying to get to, but there's always that first initial hump for whatever reason, where there's all this resistance and turbulence, which is, it's silly. And I guess this is some kind of mental habit or beliefs that I've built in my neurons for my brain or whatever. And I believe that if I keep on focusing on this practice, this musical practice, that it'll strengthen my muscle to focus and strengthen different neurons to start transforming and living a different life pretty much. So yeah, there was that feeling, and then I also wonder, how far am I going to take this? I'm also in the future sometimes too in my head, and I'm just okay, well, after 21 days, maybe I can turn this into something, but then I always think about getting stuck, just focusing on one thing and doing one thing seems so limiting. And then I'm just going off on these tangents about the future too, and I'm just okay, I don't need to figure this out right now. This is not what I need to be focusing on. What I need to focus on is just enjoying the process, practicing, and doing that, and seeing where that goes, and just enjoying that, So yeah, all that stuff was going on in my head while I was practicing. And then, like I said, I also eventually got into the flow state. And then I went for a walk to come under the bridge, and it's super nice out today. And I put my little ear pods in, my wireless ear pods, and I was listening to music just on shuffle for Spotify, and some good songs came on. There was this one reggae song that came on, and it was and something on the road to Zion, we gotta face this dragon war, and something da da, and face this dragon war. And it's just talking about fighting Babylon, and it says to face this dragon war, which I feel the dragon war is maybe the part of humanity that has the reptilian brain, you know, that's still rooted in like dominance and killing and consuming, and you know, like the sexual impulses, like things that kind of pull us down into our lower nature, is like, I feel like part of the reptilian brain. And I do feel like it is part of our biology that is something that I feel maybe that we need to transcend sometimes. Maybe not, you know, I'm sure there are good reasons for this reptilian brain, but I think there's almost a need, I guess, for lack of a better word, maybe not a need, but an importance on trying to balance that reptilian side of our brain and not let it control us, you know, like addictions and, you know, all these impulses and feelings of the flesh, you know. And yeah, and so when I was walking and the sun was shining and I just felt good, you know, like a lot of times when I go walking outside, like if I stay inside for a long time and I don't go outside a lot, when I go out during the daytime, like I'll feel really uncomfortable and nervous in my body, to the point where it's like other people can tell. I feel like, you know, like when you're so nervous, like you can't hide it, and it's like coming through in your body language and everything, and like, you know, you're shaking or you're walking weird, or, you know, you just feel really off balance, and everything's like almost like pushing you around energetically, it feels like. And yeah, I can feel like that a lot, at least I have in the kind of recent past, because I've been holed up in my room for so much, and I stopped working out, and, you know, I kind of just went into myself in a way that just made it uncomfortable for me to go outside. Like I was in a way in this temporary state of being in fear of the world, you know, and not feeling like my power in my own body, not feeling my own stability. And, you know, lately I've been working out and stuff and eating better and coming outside more and waking up like when the sun's actually up instead of during the nighttime. And I've been going outside every day, and I definitely feel a complete difference in my overall mood and attitude, and just the way I feel in my body. Like I was walking with so much more balance, and it felt good. It felt good to be outside. I felt confident. I didn't feel afraid and nervous and scared of everything, which is amazing. And I just think it's so important to get outside, you know, and to feel the sun. Like I almost feel like it's necessary. Maybe it's not. Like some people can be inside all the time and be fine, but for me, I don't know. It definitely is a night and day difference, like literally. And I love the nighttime, you know. I love the quiet of the nighttime. I love how you can be more introspective and more, you know, I feel like it's easier to be more creative and tap into like deeper ideas during the nighttime. But it's like so beautiful to see the daytime too, and I think I need both, you know, instead of just only being up at night and staying inside during the morning and then falling asleep at like 9 a.m. and waking up at 5 or 6 p.m. or something, you know. It's just, it was a part of my rebellious nature, you know, to want to just go away from the crowd and do things differently than most humans, and, you know, experience like the stranger side of life, you know, and to dive into my imagination and to dreams and to creativity and to fantasy, and to make stuff from that, you know. But it's just, I just don't think it's optimal or ideal to just only be up at night. So yeah, all in all, doing this practice, a 21-day challenge, has definitely put me on a healthier path. I feel myself getting better at the guitar. I feel myself pushing through just negative mental patterns, and I feel like I'm transforming, and I like that. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say right now, guys, so I'm going to peace out, and I wish you guys a magical day.